And my product is to empower women to lead their best lives while achieving their parenting goals. And right now, a lot of people just don't think that way.
Welcome to Taking Care of Lady Business, where we get real about what it takes to succeed, whether it's in business, life, or both. I'm talking to game-changing and visionary women who've broken barriers, built empires, and redefined success on their own terms. They'll share their strategies, secrets, and the no BS advice you need to rise to the top. I'm your host, Jennifer Justice, also known as JJ. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Taking Care of Lady Business. I'm Jennifer Justice. Today, we have Lisa Myers. She's the founder and CEO of Ceres Chill. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Jennifer. Great to be here.
Same. So I want to start with what the company is, and then we'll kind of go back into the name and how, because it's not spelled as how I said it. So tell us what Ceres Chill is, and I'm sure everybody calls it like Ceres, right? Ceres.
Yeah, some people say serious. It all works. But yeah, it's a company.
As long as they buy the product.
Exactly. Or become part of the community and support other moms. Either way, I'm fine with it.
I love it.
It's funny because I always say I'm not about selling product. I did not start this company to make money or sell anything, which probably is horrible advice. And people probably wonder how I am at all a success given that philosophy. But I was a lawyer, similar to you, but I would go so far as to say not nearly as useful an attorney. I was, for a bit in a business sense, I was a prosecutor in Philadelphia, and then I was a litigator in subrogation, which is like insurance law, all kinds of disasters. But I was a subrogation attorney and a mom returning to work. And like so many moms, I did not need one more bag, one more struggle, one more burden. And that's exactly what the world was dishing up for pumping moms at the time. So I discovered there was this was 28. I can almost show you the email I was writing at the time I came up with the idea. This was October of 2018. And I had a full-fledged business and I was selling product to support new moms January of 2020, which the audience, your community may recall, was at the beginning of the pandemic. So that was a whole other adventure. But yeah, I launched the company to support pumping moms. I needed a way to store breast milk to get myself through a regular workday and a commute, and then also travel. I opened my law firm's Vancouver, Canada office when my son was 3 months old and my daughter was 4. And so it was a struggle, to say the least. And so, yeah, the coolers with the ice packs, the freeze packs weren't cutting it. 6 to 8 hours is nobody's day or night. And so I came up with a solution that lasts 20 hours. And all you need is ice to extend that time. So yeah, it's worked out.
Well, so tell us what the company is, like what the product is. You talked about a community saying you want to. So tell us the whole, if I, become in need, which I will not anymore, of a breast pump, but I do remember it very vividly. Anybody who had I'll tell the story a little bit later about when I had to stop pumping because I was coming home from London and they had made me throw it away, which, the whole other thing. But tell us what the company is and what it does.
Sure. So similarly, I threw away thousands of ounces of breast milk as well. So the chiller I have a patent on it. It's 2 chambers. And, Jennifer, you say it's not for you anymore, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows it's not just for breast milk. You can chill an entire bottle of wine in less than 20 minutes without diluting it.
Well, here you go.
Yeah. So it's 2 chambers, and depending on what capacity you need, you can put ice in the center or ice in the outside, and it will bring the temperature of breast milk down from body temperature and keep it safe for 20 hours with just a handful of ice. So it's convenience and it's peace of mind. And it's also very under the radar. I worked with pretty much all men, and those guys definitely did not want to have any evidence or inkling that I was actively lactating. So yeah, having bottles of breast milk lined up on my desk or otherwise in the communal fridge didn't really feel like an option.
So it's just the cooler, right? It's not like a pump. Okay. Just to be clear.
No, it's not a
Yeah.
pump, but it does connect directly to a pump. So it qualifies for FSA, HSA. It's fits under insurance codes, and it's also something people want. So yeah, it fits into a lot of categories of need and want. It's basically the New Yorker called it Hydro Flask for breast milk. It looks like a regular thermos. It functions like a thermos, but because of the two chambers, it can bring the temperature down and keep it there, or bring the temperature up. So you can use it as a bottle warmer as well.
Okay, so it can pump the breast milk directly into it. It's not like you have to put it into the plastic bags and then put it in.
Exactly. You're
Right.
doing a better job than I am, Jennifer. Thank you. Yes, the pumps connect directly to all the components. They all can flip around. I could do a whole demonstration, but anybody who's interested can find all the information and much, much more on the website. But yeah, it's two chambers. And so the inner chamber is a collection chamber, and it can collect up to 12 ounces connected to a breast pump. And then the upper cup similarly can collect 7 ounces. And then they can also double as baby bottles. So yeah, everything you need to like pump, feed the baby, and also store breast milk on the go. It's all right there. Or chill wine, or use it. I now use it as my water bottle. It holds 34 ounces. So it's like a Stanley, but without any of the lids.
All right. So when it pumps into it, it becomes a bottle as well.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to, I mean, look, you're a lawyer, right? And I always find it so fascinating when we're so like inventive and creative, when we have a need that can literally help all women, is to come up with this, like, how did you even go about starting this and finding the right people to design it and et cetera?
That's I guess like the best and the worst part of the story. It's this part of the story that I love sharing the most, because I don't consider myself to be very special. I wasn't born wealthy. I certainly, being I will say, a white woman in a country like the United States of America, there's a lot of privilege that comes with that. But other than that, I didn't have a ton of funding. I wasn't an engineer. I wasn't married to an engineer. I didn't have an engineer as a best friend. I wasn't a lactation consultant. I wasn't even good at marketing. Like I said, I was a litigator. I could stand up in court and tell a really good story, is basically what my strength was. But yeah, so it was a struggle in the early days. I had the idea. I couldn't believe it didn't exist in the world. I was lucky enough to know IP attorneys I could just go talk to. And these guys are like, we understand what you're talking about. You're right. We don't see any patents that would cover this. But you have to think, Lisa, that if there's no patent that covers it, there's a reason why. It's either impossible to manufacture, or it's going to cost those companies money. So they haven't bothered thinking of it or pursuing it. So yeah, the best you could do for yourself is maybe get some help, file a patent, and then sell the idea to a company that will probably shelf it. Because what I said was, there's a lot of money to be made off of all the disposable plastic, all of those single use plastic containers, and then also the coolers. I mean, most women can't wait to set them on fire. So you're not keeping them for the next kid, and you're not gifting them to anyone. It's just the hell you're enduring for that amount of time. So I was told that I couldn't do it. And I said, well, why can't I do it?
Who told you couldn't do it?
The guys, yeah. And also a lot of women too. They said, Lisa, people use coolers for a reason. I'm like, but society, like, somehow the world is advanced for every member of society except a pumping mom. Like this, there is technology out there. Well,
for women in general, right? I mean, we still have the speculum.
Exactly. So yeah, I was told by many people that it was stupid and not worth pursuing. Now the market is flooded with knockoffs and people who think it's a really good idea with lots of opportunity. So it turns out I was onto something. But
You're
Yeah.
like
So,
my friend Sarah, who started Swell Bottle, and the next thing you
oh,
know,
exactly.
yeah. But
Exactly.
I still
Yeah.
have my Swell, even if she
Nice.
built the company. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. No,
yeah.
exactly. I know I followed her story and she's quite impressive. And a lot of the folks that have helped me on the way did get to know her. And I ended up with the engineer of Hydro Flask as my lead engineer. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover in that industry. So yeah, I had a really hard time finding an engineer that could help. There was a lot of mansplaining that happened. I was told by one set of engineers that I kept saying it needs to be smaller, but it needs to have this amount of capacity. It needed to have at least 25 ounces of capacity. And they got back to me and they're like, Lisa, we figured it out. As it turns out, babies only eat up to 5 ounces in a sitting. And so you really don't need all that capacity. We can make it much smaller. I was like, I really don't care what a baby eats in a sitting. I care about the 12-hour plus day I am trying to get through and the depositions I'm sitting in, like, with like leaking or discomfort or whatever it is. I care about keeping my supply up, preserving the milk, and like getting through the day, whatever that means. And so, yeah, there was a lot of education that happened around the product and the development and everything else, but I got there.
Amazing. How long did that take, though?
So I had the idea October of 2018. I filed the provisional patent by myself. So that's why I said I love sharing this part of the story with everyone because I, while I did go to law school, like I said, I was basically good at telling stories in court, standing on my feet and presenting a side of a story. I had no training in IP law and it is very specialized, but the US Patent and Trademark Office is one of the most user-friendly, layperson facilitating government websites I've ever come across. And so I wrote my own provisional patent by myself. So that at least gets the process started for a utility patent. Anybody who has any questions, I'm always happy to answer them and try to support people, especially women who are out there trying to make it happen. But yeah, so I filed my provisional patent November 24th, about the day before Thanksgiving, 24th, 25th of 2018. So I had the idea in October, filed the provisional patent in November, and then started the work on figuring out like a website and manufacturing and design and distribution. And I got there by talking to people about it. So that's what I would encourage your community to do. And you do such a great job of facilitating relationships and nurturing that community. But I filed my provisional patent so quickly because I realized that if I wasn't sharing the idea and getting feedback and figuring out how I could do better or what I needed to do differently, then it was never going to be a reality. So feeling like I'd protected it to the best of my ability and then sharing it and getting feedback and trying to move things forward, that's what made the difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all of this also is expensive. Like, how did you fund this?
Yeah. So I think that's why we're seeing such a boom in femtech. Like if anybody were to ask me, you talk to a lot of innovators and a lot of, I guess I would say community creators, but women finally having their own license, worth, and control over their own wealth. I don't know if things would have gone the same way or if the world would have this innovation if I hadn't been a lawyer, if I hadn't put myself through law school, if I wasn't the one that was responsible for all the bills in our family. I knew what we could afford to do. And of course, I spoke to my husband. He was a partner in all of this, in our life together and raising our two kids. But rather than asking permission, which I think so many women that don't have their own income feel they have to do, whether or not they do, it's that feeling like it's his money and he is going to decide whether or not my request is worthy of the investment of his money. That wasn't at all the calculation for me. My calculation was, can I keep my family safe and pay all the bills and see where this takes us, see how far we can get with this idea and this opportunity for the family and for myself and for the world, for women. And so it wasn't cheap. I funded it I refused to mortgage the house. I never wanted to put myself in a desperate position where I had to make poorly calculated decisions out of a sense of fear for myself and my family, mostly my kids, right? But so it was a bunch of 0% interest credit cards. I had good credit, so I was lucky in that sense. And I just kept leveraging whatever income I had. I always lived well within my means, so we could pay the bills and there was a little bit extra. And so I could cover, design costs. And then drawing on my friends. I've always been a bit of a lone wolf. You and I spoke earlier. I grew up on a farm in Eastern Washington State. And so I was kind of always on my own, hard worker. And then as a lawyer, a litigator, I kind of was a lone wolf as well. But this experience really taught me how important it is to see the strengths in the people around you and then show them how they could help and ask them for their help. And people love that. Like they love to be invested and important and contribute to something bigger than themselves. And I never was good at doing that before, but having this company, there's no way I could have gotten this far if it hadn't been for the people around me, the people that were on the ferry commute with me back from work, or mom friends that I had, engineers, people who owned warehouses, they all helped me out.
Yeah, I mean, that's very similar. I'm also, as we talked about, from Washington State, from Western and Central. And yeah, my mom didn't graduate high school. I'm from similar background, and did everything by myself. I was just telling my kids this weekend when I had to move the bed and my mattress was too heavy. My daughter, who's 12, was like, why did you think you could do this by yourself? And I was like, I don't know.
I've been doing it for 40 some years by myself. That's how
I always do. I'm glad that you noticed that that's not necessarily a good thing. It's one thing to be independent, another to be ridiculous about it. So all right, so you got this collective knowledge. You funded it by yourself, and didn't you do a WeFunder as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so that was farther down the road. So after I was a going concern and I felt more comfortable being responsible for other people's wealth and money, I opened up a WeFunder, and that was amazing. I'm so glad you asked about it. That has been a huge advantage for the company, in my opinion. So I was approached by traditional investors. So all guys, really, really exceptional, forward thinking guys. But even they were like, Lisa, this is a really cool product and we're really excited. You want to let us be part of it. However, where are the women at? I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking for them too. And so
what do you mean, where are the women at? Like for what? To
investors, female investors. Yeah. There's just not a lot. But there are an increasing number. And there's also not a lot of investment for women entrepreneurs. These were guys that knew the vacuum insulated bottle industry and knew consumer product really well and saw the value in what I was doing. But I wanted to have women involved who understood the struggle, who understood the value of the product from a very personal standpoint. So I opened up a WeFunder campaign. I don't know if your community is really familiar, but under the Affordable Care Act, it was under the Obama administration. He wanted to open up investment opportunities to people who weren't just good old boys, shaking hands and rubbing elbows and having a good chuckle in back rooms, smoking cigars and sipping whiskey. The idea was that everyone should have an opportunity to be part of something important to contribute to the economy in that way. So it used to be, before the Affordable Care Act, before Obama, it used to be that the only way you could invest in a company that wasn't on the New York Stock Exchange, that wasn't part of the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones, was to be an accredited investor. So you had to have, several $1,000,000 either in income or in liquid wealth. And then you were allowed to invest in companies that weren't public. So things changed. People now, regular people, could invest in companies like mine. You can ask for information, vet them as best you can, and then make your own decision about whether or not you would like to take the risk, because it's big risk and potentially big reward. And so that's what all of these, like I said, good old boys knew. It was, getting in at the ground level for a company like Apple or Starbucks was a really big opportunity, and it wasn't open to everyone. So WeFunder is an entity that sprung up as part of this new movement to allow new investors to be part of companies like mine. So I opened up an investment round to all of our customers. Nobody else, didn't tell anybody else about it. Just our customers. At the time, I had probably 25,000. That was 2 years ago. So I'd been in business for 3 years and maybe 2.5. And we ended up with investors, over 500 investors invested over 700,000 in just under 2 weeks. I wanted to keep it short, sweet, and keep the opportunity open to the women and families that understood. And it was just neat to see all the reasons people gave for making their investment. I mean, some of them only invested, $100, and some of them invested $10,000, but they were, police officers and teachers and executives and, stay-at-home moms, but all of them people who understood the value of the company and what we were offering moms. So we ended up with investors in every state except for Vermont and Arkansas, and every continent except Antarctica.
Two totally opposite states.
Yep. I think it's pure population, because the only continent we didn't hit was Antarctica. So I feel like it was just population, because we certainly,
amazing.
we had customers there, but it just wasn't anybody that had the funds on hand at that time to invest. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. And they continue to give advice and participate in, product development and marketing and just overall support, cheering us all on in a really meaningful way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So you've been around now for a number of years. You've raised some money. You have institutional, WeFunder money, et cetera. What has your growth been like?
It's been breathtaking and blinding at times. Things have slowed, as I feel like. I mean, I hate to say it, because maybe it's turning around or maybe it's just me. Things have slowed a little bit. I think there's a lot of, it feels like, and again, maybe it's just personal, nervous tension in the world. Also, I'm really proud of what we've done as a company to make sure that this technology and any of the products that we offer, I hold several patents. It's not just the chiller anymore, but to make sure all the products are available to all moms. And so we have offered our products through government programs. So through WIC, which is Women, Infant, Children support through the government, but a lot of those programs have been cut. And so, we've seen a drawdown in revenue there. It wasn't anything we were, wholly relying on, but the world is just, it feels like there are moments where the world is just a little on edge these days. And so a lot of people seem to be contracting rather than thinking expansively. And my product is to empower women to lead their best lives, while achieving their parenting goals. And right now, a lot of people just don't think that way.
What do you gauge as success? Being a first-time entrepreneur coming from law, knowing that this product is very helpful for all moms and necessary, but what's your version of success for the company?
Oh, for the company. So that's different.
How about first for the company and then for you?
Yeah. Okay. So for the company, it's that we're a recognized and trusted source of information and support for moms. And that can show up as a product, that can show up in our, Facebook group, Judgment Free, pumping support for moms, and also our customer service. It's all moms, most of them stay at home, who have used the product, who at some point sent their resume in and said, I just love to work for your company. If there's ever a chance, keep me in mind. And so we get resumes all the time. And I always hate to say, oh, we'll keep it on file, because that always feels so trite and unreal, but it's the truth. And we've reached out to people, a year after they sent their resume in and said, we don't know what you're up to, but, women who were pediatric nurses, who were, stay-at-home moms, but knew the product and just wanted to help other moms. Success is supporting those women who are part of the team, and men. We've got a lot of amazing dads and uncles and partners, but supporting the team and being exceptional and authentic in their interaction and with the community, and then supporting that community in leading really remarkable lives for themselves and their family.
Yeah. So when they are, is this like another career that some people can have? Is like in customer service, like you find them and they're remote and they can do it from anywhere kind of situation?
Yeah. I mean, we're 100% remote. So we have, we have team members all over the United States, from Long Island to Irvine, California, from Orlando to Seattle, and everything in between. I would say that this company is different in that everyone talks about how they're going to be here forever. And I will tell you, Jennifer, I am pretty much the oldest person at the company. Most of the company has not seen the original Top Gun. And I'm like, where am I?
I don't actually belong there.
I know. But, everybody in the warehouse, everybody in customer service, the key for me is that everyone understands that they're just as important, if not more important than me or our CFO or our director of marketing, because they are sometimes the only interaction our customers will have with the company, the only conversation, the only correspondence, the only text, or, they're putting together the package. They're making sure that mom gets that pump just in time to take her first trip, or her chiller. And we also sell pumps now. We partner with a pump company, but that she has everything she needs to take that first trip away from her baby, and, concentrate on her work or have fun with her friends, and not have to worry about the type of parent she is while she's away. So, or to the best of our ability, support her in that. So yeah, everybody in the company, I think, takes their work very seriously, has a lot of fun, and loves the support they can offer each other and our customers.
So what about the success for you?
You asked. For me, it's being able to show up for them and for my kids, and not be as self-critical as I often am. I really struggle with that. It's something that I'm still working on. But do you know the passage by Emerson about success? Have you ever heard that one, Jennifer?
I'm sure I have, but I don't know. What is it?
Okay. All right. I'm going to, I have to share it with you, because for me, it's what keeps me grounded and helps me to think more clearly about where I need to have my mindset. So success, Ralph Waldo Emerson says, is to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent persons and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the beauty in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. This is to have succeeded.
All right.
To know, and to know even one life is breathed easier because you have lived. So so that's, I try to keep that in mind.
Why, many times over. I love it. So what do you have coming up for the company? Like what other products, et cetera?
Yeah. So we have a patent for nipple shields. They're really cool. They're color changing. So if anybody out there has ever had to use nipple shields, ours look like flowers and they are brightly colored at room temperature. So you can actually find them. Usually they're little medical wisps of silicone that disappear, but ours are brightly colored at room temperature and then they're neutral at body temperature. So it brings a little bit of like beauty, whimsy, and magic to what is otherwise one of the most painful parts of breastfeeding. And then we have these beautiful glass bottles we just launched, and we'll keep moving in this direction. So for me, priority is always value for our moms, for our customers. And if we can also save the world at the same time, we should be doing that. So always takes innovation to pull both those things off. So our glass bottles are really beautiful. Can I grab mine real quick? It's in my kitchen. So it's a baby bottle, but I'm going to like ruin some of the surprise. So it's glass. And why do baby bottles all have to be so institutional, so industrial, right? You can hold them up to anybody on the street, any Joe Schmo, even without the baby bottle nipple on it. And everybody can take one look at it and go, that's a baby bottle. Like, if you're lucky, there's like a duck or a lamb on it, but that's about as cute as it gets. They're plastic. Sometimes they're glass, but they're always just institutional. So my idea was like, why not make them really beautiful? So this is glass. It's been in my kitchen, so it's all dirty from my hands. I should have like really, really staged this better. But yeah, on one side, lavender measures ounces, and on the other side, millimeters is measured by rosemary. So, which both have symbolism for moms. But yeah, so this, now it converts. If you have a beautiful bottle like this, why wouldn't you want to keep it and use it forever? So rather than throw them away or find somebody you know intimately enough, they want your used breast milk bottles, which always end up discolored. I mean, it's always just like, ugh, okay. So, so these you can use for oil or vinegar in the kitchen. We have a soap and lotion attachment, so you can use them on your
amazing. But
nightstand.
they're still like able for little babies' hands to like feed themselves.
Yes. And they're square. This is the other thing, Jennifer. I'm a very simple, straightforward person. They're square, so they don't roll off a table. Babies can hold them. They love that textured glass. It's borosilicate glass, so you have to try really hard to break it. I have tried, and it is hard. But yeah, so those are the types of things that we're always working on, is ways to make things multifunctional, lifetime of use, something that isn't going into the landfill because you cherish it, you want to hold on to it, and you invested in it. It's part of your family. It's part of your memories.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I know also that people find it hard to pronounce the name, as we discussed earlier, and we want people to be able to find you. So first, spell how the name, say it and spell it, and then give us the background, and then I'll help people remember.
Okay. All right. Terrific. So the name, the way I pronounce it, is Ceres Chill, like a Netflix series, but it's spelled C as in cat, ERES, and then separate chill. So Ceres Chill. And how I ended up with the name and how I ended up with the mark. The mark is a beautiful woman, athletic woman, drawing a bow and shooting at a snowflake. And she's got a crescent moon as her bow. How I came up with the mark and the name is that I wanted something that wasn't infantile or demeaning or diminutive. I wanted something bold and powerful and expansive that was worthy of all these women who are out there trying to do it all every day for their families, for themselves, for their communities. So Ceres is the goddess of the harvest and maternal relationships. She is the Roman goddess. So I joked with you before we got into the podcast that it's a Latin word. So we are all probably saying it wrong, mispronouncing her name, but the goddess doesn't care. She's over it. So I say Ceres because it's where we get the word cereal from, because of harvest and grain and everything. So to be consistent, I think that a lot of people pronounce it Ceres, but yeah. The good news is we'll know what you're talking about. And if you search for breast milk chiller, I invented the category. So you'll end up at cereschill.com and you'll have a chance to see all the innovation we've been working on.
That's amazing. All right. So how can people find you?
Okay. So CeresChill.com, again, with a C, Ceres. And what I'm really proud of is that our website doesn't come up as often. Our competitors or our colleagues in the searches are like the National Health Department, the CDC, the UK Health Department, because we have a lot of really important information, up to date blogs and articles about research into breast milk, how moms can go back to work. I have a sample email that I wrote for one of the moms about how to go back to work and advocate for herself, what your rights are as a pumping mom, and how best to try to affect that at your own workplace and
so
survive
important.
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, a little overwhelming to say the least. So yeah, so we have a lot of really great resources on the website. So even if somebody isn't necessarily in the market for a wine chiller or a breast milk chiller, they can go to the website and find information about how to go to Disneyland and breastfeed a baby, or how to return to work and advocate for yourself as a new mom. So yeah, there's a lot there for sure.
Amazing. All right. So before we let you go, though, there's always one question I ask every single guest, and that is, what is the worst advice you've ever received?
I love this question. And at first I was thinking about it in terms of Ceres Chill, and there was a lot of bad advice and there was a lot of challenges to overcome. And everyone in your community knows those challenges, either the same or personal ones they have. But when I was at the law firm, people talk about microaggressions and, inherent or unconscious bias. Like I said, I worked pretty much with all men. Certainly men controlled my destiny for most of my life, if not to some extent, even now. But the head of my department, so I put myself up for equity partner at an international law firm. And I had a lot of success under my belt. And I opened the firm's Vancouver, Canada office, and I was really proud of it. But, it's always a bit of a roll of the dice. You're asking all of the most important people at the firm, the shareholders, or the people with the most power at the firm, if they are willing to be a shareholder, share in the wealth with them. It's a big ask. Mm-hmm. And you get 3 chances. The first chance is usually what everybody says, your chance to tell them you're interested. The second chance is where you really get considered. And the third is like, why are you still asking? And you usually don't end up with it. And then you never make partner. So I decided I was going to put myself up for shareholder. And if I made it, great. And if not, there was plenty of other stuff in the world that I could be doing to contribute. So this is like a long story. But anyway, you have to ask. It's best that you ask for the support of the head of your department. That's the smart thing to do. Make sure that they're aligned before you just throw your name out there. So I asked the head of my department, who was an older gentleman, middle-aged, but, had headed up his frat and everything. And I asked him what he thought. And I said, I had the blessing of the head of the department in the main office. And he said, oh yeah, no, Lisa, I could see why you think this would be the time. I certainly respect that you've brought in considerable revenue for the firm. And but how do I say this? And I'm like, it's okay. Just say it. And he's like, oh man, it's awkward. You brag too much. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, when you write your memo, because you had to write a whole memo that justifies your existence in the firm and your worthiness to share in the profits with everyone. When you write your memo, just, try to tone it down. Like, try to keep in mind, like, you brag too much and nobody needs to hear that. Like, everybody knows the stuff you've done. Just like, keep it simple, straightforward. Like, maybe look at some examples. I'm like, Jennifer, the whole point is to tell them why you are at all deserving of consideration.
Is you brag too much for a woman. # Mark's a dick. Okay.
I know. I felt so bad. God, I was like being so careful, but I'm like, yeah, no. And so everybody asked me, like, what did you say to him? And I'm like, I thanked him. I mean, I was in politics before I was a lawyer. And it's just a great reminder to always understand your audience and like who I was going to be making my case to. And I was honestly grateful for the feedback because it was not something I was unaware of, but it was great to be reminded in such plain terms.
Well, also, you were never going to go anywhere in that firm if he was the head of your department. You know?
I made partners.
There's no growth for you. Stop asking for things that you're never going to get. Like, go ask somebody who actually appreciates you. I love it.
But I did make partner. That is the happy ending of the story. So ultimately, I believe he did vote for me. I think I did a good job of bragging and making a case for myself. But yeah, no, I think all of us understand that no one else is going to get out there and tout your accomplishments and sing your praises. And what I have found, my advice on top of this story about the worst advice I've been given is that when you can, and it's a terrible shame, but it's just the truth in my opinion. When you can, if you can go to events, or whether it's a work event or it's a networking opportunity, or even like a lot of social gatherings where there might be people who can be helpful in the room, going with another person, often a woman, but another person that recognizes your accomplishments and is happy to talk about you in glowing terms and share all of the value that you bring to the world is great, because a lot of people still are uncomfortable hearing from women about how awesome they are. And we are still uncomfortable speaking about ourselves that way. And so, but it feels really good. And it's a good look for both of you when you're talking somebody else up and you're like, wow, like you should hear Jennifer's podcast. Like you want to talk about people that are changing the world. That's her. Like, and my favorite one is this episode. And like, and then like, don't even get me started on her talent as a lawyer. Like, but for you to say that to like a group, it's a lot, there's a lot more challenges and a lot more barriers to how it's received and how comfortable you are in saying it. So yeah, that's, I guess, my advice.
Great advice. I can't wait for you to start talking about me everywhere you go. And, you know, after you send me my wine cooler, of course.
I know, right?
I love it. All right. Well, we got to get going, but thank you so much for coming on to this podcast, and for everyone listening. Thank you. I'm Jennifer Justice. Thanks to MedJet for supporting the Lady Business Podcast. If you're hospitalized or your security is threatened while traveling, they can get you home. I'm a MedJet member and have been for years. Everyone who travels should be. Enroll before your next trip at medjet.com. Thanks for tuning in to Taking Care of Lady Business. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. And also share this episode with a friend who needs that extra push to own their success. If you want more strategy stories and exclusive content, follow us on TikTok at Taking Care of Lady Business, on Instagram at thejustice.dept and Jennifer Justice L, or visit our website at thejusticedept.com. Taking Care of Lady Business is a production of Lady Business LLC.